Young King David, only 25 years old, had just ascended to the throne after his father's passing. Throughout his childhood, he had been guided by his loyal teacher and advisor, Edward. Edward had taught David about kindness, patience, and wisdom, helping him grow into a compassionate ruler. Under Edward's guidance, the kingdom had enjoyed years of prosperity. But one year, due to an error in Edward's weather forecast, a drought struck, destroying the crops and leaving the people hungry. The kingdom soon fell into a severe food crisis. In a surge of anger at seeing his people suffer, David blamed Edward entirely. Without giving him a chance to explain, the young king made a rash decision. He ordered Edward to be banished from the kingdom. Edward left quietly, without a word of resentment. Edward traveled to a remote village and began living a simple life as an ordinary man. He worked in the fields, helped the villagers, and taught the children to read. His wisdom and kindness soon earned him deep respect from everyone in the village. 5. Meanwhile, David began to realize his mistake. Without Edward's guidance, he struggled to handle important matters of the kingdom. His regret grew heavier each day, but he had no idea where Edward had gone. One day, David came up with a clever plan to find him. He sent a clay jar and a letter to every village in the land. The letter read, "Fill this jar with wisdom within 1 month. If you fail, the village must pay the crown and jewels." When the jar arrived in Edward's village, the people were anxious. No one knew how to fill wisdom into a clay jar. The villagers gathered to discuss, but no solution seemed possible. With his usual calm, Edward took the jar and walked into the garden. He found a young pumpkin vine and carefully placed a small pumpkin inside the jar, letting it grow until it completely filled the space. He explained to the villagers that wisdom sometimes lies in finding the simplest path to a solution. When the jar was returned to the palace, David was astonished. Inside was a large pumpkin, perfectly filling the jar, and he knew it could only have been placed there when it was small. He immediately realized that only Edward could have devised such an idea. David hurried to the remote village to find Edward. In front of all the villagers, he apologized for his rash decision years ago and invited Edward to return as his advisor. The king had learned a lasting lesson: never make decisions in anger, for strong emotions can cloud judgment. Wisdom comes from patience and understanding.